Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? As you know, if you've supported this channel and watched videos on this channel for some time, I love international football. So let's do a catch-up of all the World Cup qualifiers, starting with Europe and moving on to Asia and South America, North America and Africa. And we've got some really crazy results, lots of talking points, particularly one in Asia that you do not want to miss out on. It's crazy. A couple of interesting ones in Europe and South America. And yeah, we will have a little look about quite a few extra countries have qualified now, so we'll mention those as well, including one of the biggest of all. And yeah, we're going to take a little look. So we'll start with Europe, as I said, UEFA. Still, some of the groups haven't kicked off yet, the smaller groups, because teams are involved in those in the Nations League, or they were involved in the playoffs to be promoted or relegated in the Nations League. So Group A and Group B haven't played yet, neither have C or D, or E or F. So we'll start off our little adventure with Group G, where I think there was a little bit of a shock and some controversy. So if you're Polish, we'll get to you first. Okay, so Finland currently top of the group, but Netherlands in the playoff spot with only 2 games played and 2 wins, 10-0 on the goal difference. Poland in third, we'll mention that when we look at the results in a second. Lithuania in fourth and Malta down in fifth. Group H, we'll look at all the fixtures in a second. Starts off with Bosnia with 3 wins out of 3. They're doing brilliantly, and they've got San Marino next, so that's really positive for them. Romania not having a great time, they're in third. Austria, after just 2 games and 2 wins, are second. Cyprus in fourth, and San Marino in fifth. Group I, Norway are top, 4 wins out of 4, and they have bottom Moldova next. Israel in second, Italy in third. I sent a poll out recently and I said, do you think it's not going to qualify again for the World Cup? Estonia in fourth and Moldova in fifth. Group J, plenty. I really want to talk about this with you. North Macedonia top, Wales second, Belgium third after just 2 games. Kazakhstan and Liechtenstein. And then Group K, England top, Albania second, but they have slipped up. Serbia in third, Latvia, and then Andorra. And lastly, Group L, Czechia are top with 3 wins and a loss. Croatia, after just 2 games and 2 wins, are second. Montenegro are third, Faroe Islands fourth, and Gibraltar are fifth. Okay, so why were those fixtures a little bit interesting? Let's have a look then. So Czechia beating Montenegro 2-0, Israel beating Estonia away 3-1, Croatia hammering Gibraltar 7-0, with 2 goals for Ivanovic and 2 for Kramaric. This game I predicted as a draw, and it did happen, so I can occasionally guess correctly. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. So I can guess every now and again. Belgium in their first game drew away to North Macedonia. They were statistically all over them, but Macedonia let that happen. That's their tactic. They sit back and they attack on the counter. And North Macedonia hit the post twice in the first half, including Alioski from a very close range. Should have scored. And then scored an absolute belter on the 86th minute to draw. So 1-1. So that kept Macedonia top of the group. Norway hammering Italy 3-0, which means that their manager has resigned. And they're going in a different direction. And yeah, it's a little bit of a crisis time for Italian football, with the performance of Inter in the Champions League, the general performance of their teams this year in Europe, not getting that extra 5th Champions League spot like they did last year, for example. And yeah, just a little bit of a crisis time. I talked last week when I did the Champions League roundup and the Europa League and Conference League. I said that I just don't see Italian youngsters coming through the way that you see all these wonder kids from Spain, France, England, Portugal, Germany. We're just not getting that from Italy at the moment, and it's quite worrying. And Norway rightfully beat them 3-0. And yeah, I don't know if Italy are... I don't think they can qualify automatically from the group. I think they're going to have to go through the playoffs, which I'm sure they'll get, because even if they don't finish second in their group, because of their performance in the Nations League, they will get a playoff spot anyway via the Nations League. And then my Wales beating Liechtenstein 3-0, fairly uneventful match, totally all over them with our high pressing, 26 shots on goal, 11 on target and 79% possession. And yeah, we could have had about 4 more, to be honest, which we don't usually get against the lower teams. They're usually a little bit of a banana peel for us. So it's really lovely to see that Bellamy has got a good idea of what to do with these teams that usually sit in a low block. In the past, that we would either get a draw with, like we did with Estonia a couple of years ago, or we'd be troubled on the counter-attack like we were against Andorra back in 2015 or whatever it was. Yeah, so we actually have a plan, which is great, and obviously Harry Wilson was fantastic. Bosnia beat San Marino just 1-0, and I don't think there's any shame in that at all, because San Marino have improved so much. But on the flip side of that, England in the UK press got absolutely battered for only beating Andorra 1-0. But to be fair to them, you know, it's Andorra, it's the end of the season, they're tired. I didn't watch the match, so I don't know, but yeah, Thomas Tuchel is already under quite a lot of pressure, particularly because of the friendly that happened. Because they didn't have a following match day, they lost at home to Senegal. It was a very stupid handball decision in what would have been Bellingham's equaliser right at the end. It would have been 2-2, and then that was not given. It wasn't a handball at all. But then, if that wasn't a handball, we'll get to Wales is not a handball in a second. Belgium, I'm looking at you. And then England, they ran down the other end and scored, so it was 3-1. It should have been 2-2. So, and then there was a controversy because Bellingham lost his temper with the referee, and there's all these stories coming out that he's getting a little bit too feisty with referees. He's getting a bit of a reputation in Spain for it. Yeah, so there was a lot of fallout this week for England. It's not a positive time at the moment in the English camp. Tuchel came out and said that, you know, players didn't really seem enthusiastic to play. Why would they when they're playing Andorra and then Senegal in a friendly? Like, at the end, they would just want to finish and get on the beach. Some of them, obviously Kane, for example, then had to fly to America for the Club World Cup. I don't blame them, to be honest with me. But if their behaviour is like that in the winter camp, then that's different, isn't it? But in the summer camp, I can totally understand it. Malta drew with Lithuania, great result for Malta. Albania drew with Serbia, and apparently there were no brawls or street fights or anything this time, or drones, so that's great. Austria beating Romania 2-1. That is worrying for Romania. They would have hoped to get a draw. And then the Netherlands beating Finland 2-0. De Bay and Dumfries. Okay, match day 2 then. Well, the second match day, which is technically match day 4 for most teams. North Macedonia beating Kazakhstan in the early kickoff 1-0 to put themselves top of the group. And then this happened. Oh my god, right, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the beginning. Belgium are 3-0 up inside of 29 minutes. Wales are all over the place in a match that has been hyped up in the Welsh media as we're going to go to Belgium, we're going to beat them, we're the best we've been in years, we have this coach with amazing tactics, they've just changed their manager, they've just been knocked out of the sort of, whatever, the Nations League, They drew with North Macedonia. They've got a lack of confidence. A lot of their players are old, like De Bruyne and Lukaku. They over-rely on them. They haven't got as much youth talent, blah, blah, blah. And then in 29 minutes, they were literally like destroying us. And people on Reddit were like, oh my god, is this going to be 7, 8? Like, have we totally underestimated them? My friend always texts me during Wales matches, and he was like, I thought we were told Belgium were rubbish, like what is happening? So yeah, they were absolutely all over us. They scored with a penalty which was never, ever, ever, ever a penalty. And I'm sure Belgian people will comment and confirm that. Equally, that wasn't a penalty either. We'll come back to that. Lukaku scored a penalty because De Bruyne from a corner kick shot at goal from close range, just outside the box, and it hit Brennan Johnson's arm, but his arm was literally behind his back. So he jumped in the air, and the ball was coming towards his arm, so he put his arm around his back, and it hit there. So his arm is in to his side, and he sort of puts it behind him, and it was given after 4 minutes of review with VAR. So when I watched the England penalty decision with the Senegal, I watched the highlights on ITV, and they were like, oh, it has to be an intentional handball, they were saying, and they was like, clearly in the England game it wasn't intentional because the player whose arm it hit, it wasn't even his hand, it was like his upper arm, was looking the opposite way, so he didn't have any intent at all. Brennan Johnson saw the ball coming, moved his arm away and behind him, but because he sort of jumped and turned in midair, it actually hit the arm which was at his side, and it was given. So I was saying, no, it's never going to be given. It's not a handball. Like, that's not the rule. That's not what a handball is. You can't jump, put your arms into your side of your body, and it hits them. Otherwise, wouldn't you just run up the pitch and aim for people's hands or arms? Just kick it at their hands. Don't aim for the goal, because you just get a penalty every time, wouldn't you? It was the most ridiculous decision I've ever seen. So they were 1-0 up. Then Tielemans scored an absolute cracker 4 minutes later when we were obviously still upset. Doku scored a ridiculous goal. The goalkeeper's at fault. Just, he ripped us apart. He was absolutely world class. And it's funny because I didn't rate him before. And then Wilson got a penalty. The goalkeeper went in hard. I don't think it was a penalty. I think it was on Chris Mepham. And they gave a penalty. It wasn't, but it was great. It went in at 3-1. Came out. Sorba Thomas scored with a stunning move made on the right-hand side between Brennan Johnson and Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson got the ball off Brennan. They interchanged it a couple of times on the right wing. Harry Wilson did a cross-the-field ball to Thomas, who was running in late, and he scored through the keeper's legs. And then Brennan Johnson scored one of his trademark headers that he's done for Spurs all season long. And we're 3-3 on the 70th minute. And at this point, we are pushing forward for a winner. And then there's a decision where Doku goes to the byline, takes on Connor Roberts. It hits Doku and goes out, and they give a corner kick. And we're all saying, oh no, actually there was a bit before this where Lukaku scored, but the ball went out near the managers. So Craig Bellamy's screaming, he's like, it's out. They run down the pitch and score. It took another 5 minutes for VAR to look at the ball being out of play on the halfway line. And then they disallowed the goal. So they did score, and it was 4-3 at that point, and then it went back to 3-3. And then Doku got this corner kick that wasn't. Doku didn't even ask for it. He looked surprised when it was given, and they put it across, and there was a little bit of play then. It wasn't immediate, and it was an amazing cross from the right-hand side, and De Bruyne just running at the back post. No one marked him, and stuck it in the back of the net. Absolutely amazing finish. And they confirmed that he has now scored more goals against Wales than any other nation that Belgium have ever played against during his time. And I hate him, but actually he is amazing. So I went through a stage where I was just like, I hate Kevin De Bruyne, and actually now I'm like, do you know what? Respect to him, he always, like, he must hate Wales. Like, he always scores against us. He got the penalty. He was amazing all game long. We couldn't control him, and he's just gone to Napoli, and he's going to strengthen their team tenfold than they already won the league this year. He's amazing. I hate him, but he's amazing. So we lost, but it felt like a win, and as Sober Thomas said in his post-match interview, it feels like a win, and I can't wait to play them in Cardiff, to be honest. I think someone pointed out in the pre-match chat in the studio that if we win all our games now, because we've already played North Macedonia away and Belgium away, so we've got them both at Cardiff, and we're just away to Liechtenstein and away to Kazakhstan, which it could be difficult. But if we win those 4 games, we finish top, even though we're not top currently. So we can do it, and we also finish top of our Nations League group, so we definitely, even if we don't finish second, because North Macedonia are doing brilliantly, fair play to them, even if this is some weird group where we finish third with quite a few points, we still get a playoff spot because of the Nations League performance. And I think that we would be better than most teams in the playoff. I even think at the minute we would do pretty well against Italy. I'm not even scared of Italy. Normally I'd be like, God, do not give us Italy. Big result for Croatia, beating their rivals in the group 5-1 with a cheeky goal from Modric and another one from Perisic. Is he getting better the older he gets? It's crazy. 2 more for Kramaric as well. Norway didn't slip up against Estonia thanks to Haaland. Faroe Islands beat Gibraltar coming from 1-0 down. Italy just beat Moldova 2-0. And then this result, which has cost the Poland manager his job. That and the fact that he took the captaincy off Lewandowski, and then Lewandowski said, I will not play for Poland until the manager leaves. And then the next game they lose to Finland, and he resigns. He's like, I've got, the results aren't good enough. And Lewandowski is like saying that he won't play for us, so I've got to go. So Poland are going to have a new manager. And then Albania, who I thought were going to really challenge, if not England, then definitely Serbia for second spot in the group, have slipped up. They have got a draw away to Latvia, who I said when Wales played them, they are tricky. They're very, very tricky. We narrowly beat them twice, narrowly beat them. And I think teams like this, because of Albania's counter-attacking style, are not ideal, because Albania have to have the ball and they don't want it. They want Latvia to have the ball, but Latvia just sit back with 11 people behind the ball. Netherlands then beating Malta 8-0. 2 goals from De Bruyne. Even Van de Ven on the goals list. Romania then got a 2-0 win against Cyprus. San Marino lost to Austria 4-0. 2 goals for that man Arnautovic. And Serbia beat Andorra 3-0, a hat-trick for Alexander Mitrovic. And that is Europe. Okay, let's go to Asia next, because I've got a talking point I want to bring to your attention. Okay, so Group A, Iran and Uzbekistan have qualified for the World Cup. Congrats. I'm so pleased for Uzbekistan. They just drew with UAE and beat Qatar to qualify. So they only had 1 loss in the whole thing, and that was a dodgy decision against Qatar. I watched that match, and it was basically it was like one of those carry on until Qatar win. It was like the 97th minute or something. So yeah, UAE and Qatar are going to the next stage to try and qualify. 6 teams have qualified, and it's going to be 2 groups of 3. And I think the winner goes on to the World Cup or to the Intercontinental Playoffs, I'm not sure. South Korea have qualified, as have Jordan, for their first ever World Cup, same as Uzbekistan. Congratulations, Mubarak Jordan. Iraq narrowly missed out, and oh god, the Oman. We'll talk about the Oman-Palestine game in a second. It is shocking. Shocking. You should watch Zealandism and his take on the game where he shows the actual penalty decision. We'll talk about it in a second. I'm gutted for Palestine. And Japan and Australia are through. Saudi and Indonesia, good for them, have made it through to the playoff section. Let's look at the scores. So, round... oh, no, not that one. Let's have a look then. So that's Iran, then Lebanon and Jordan. Round 5, is this where we are? No, this is like way earlier on. Why is it gone all the way to the end? Okay. So, Australia, to try and give themselves a chance, beat Japan in the last moment of the game. Behich with a 90th minute winner against already qualified Japan. So that meant that they could afford just to draw against Saudi Arabia with their head-to-head record, and they would get through. Indonesia, who were unjustly beaten by China in the last head-to-head between the two, managed to beat them this time, which helped them enormously. Bahrain, who drew with Saudi Arabia in the first match day between these two, lost at home 2-0 to Saudi Arabia. Jordan beat Oman 3-0, and that qualified them. As I said, Uzbekistan drew with UAE away, which meant that they qualified for their first ever World Cup as well. Iraq narrowly lost with a 10 men, unfortunately, at home to South Korea. So South Korea qualified. Palestine at this point have picked up, and this was their second win in a row. So they won away to Kuwait 2-0. Kyrgyzstan and North Korea 2-2, and Qatar managed to beat Iran, so Iran didn't go unbeaten throughout this qualifying campaign like they could have because of this result. And then final match day, Japan hammered Indonesia 6-0, but it didn't matter. Indonesia were already through. China beat Bahrain. South Korea beat Kuwait. Kyrgyzstan and UAE actually drew. UAE were already out of automatic qualifying, but a 95th minute winner, equaliser from Kyrgyzstan, spoiled the party. Massive result from Uzbekistan, goal for Shomurodov of Roma. 3-0 winners against Qatar for that revenge match, that to turn over the away match. Iran then beat North Korea 3-0. Iraq managed to beat Jordan 1-0. Saudi Arabia lost at home to an improving Australia side. I think they got had a new manager fairly recently, and their results have picked up. But it's not been a very good qualifying campaign for Saudi, who themselves have got Renat Hervé back, the guy who masterminded the win against Argentina in the World Cup. He has returned. And then there was this match. Oh my god. You need to see the penalty decision in the 97th minute, because it is horrific. Like, I mean, if I were Palestinian, I think I would still be crying myself to sleep. They needed a win. They were winning until the 95th minute when the penalty was awarded. VAR looked at it for a while. At this point in time, the Palestinian players are literally crying on the floor, like laying around thinking, we've conceded a penalty. They were so upset they didn't even sort of say to the ref, it's never a penalty. They didn't protest. It's not a penalty. Like, the guy literally is about a foot from the player behind him and just falls over. The ball's not even going to him. It's overshot. It's just going to go out for a corner. Not even a corner, a goal kick. Congrats to Oman. Obviously, it's not your fault, but it's not. It's not a foul. It's not a penalty, and such an important decision. Palestine don't have an opportunity to qualify for the World Cup now. It's an astonishing decision, and I feel so sorry for Palestine, who I watched during the last Asian Cup and really enjoyed their play style. It's really nice to watch. but their World Cup dream is over, and I'm sure there are lots of us who, you know, I'm thinking of like Ireland against France with that Henry handball, a couple of other decisions where you think that match should be replayed. It was one of those, but it doesn't happen. They don't get replayed, do they? So yeah, shocking, absolutely awful decision. Cannot believe it. So sorry for them. Okay, take our breaths. Let's go to COMMEBOL, because we have Ecuador and Brazil who have qualified. Congratulations to those two. Obviously, that's Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil, who have got a draw and a win under him. And Venezuela are currently vying with Bolivia for the continental playoff spot. If Colombia have a collapse, then Venezuela could catch them. There are 2 games and 6 points to play for. Technically, even Uruguay and Paraguay aren't mathematically safe. Paraguay, having a sensational qualifying campaign, were not tipped to win at all, started really poorly, and are just going on this fantastic run. So well done to them. Bolivia, who can only win at home, because the home matches are played at like some ridiculous height up on the Andes Mountains, and players can't breathe, so they beat whoever they play up there. Is absolutely nuts. Could still qualify, but Venezuela, of course, have never. They're the only team here to have never qualified, so they are pushing for that, and good luck to them. And as I said, well done to Argentina, who qualified ages ago, Ecuador, and now Brazil. Some quick look at results. So Argentina drew with Colombia, who have got 7 draws, I think, more than anyone else. Uruguay won against Venezuela, Brazil against Paraguay, Bolivia beat Chile up in the Andes, and the match day before that, Ecuador and Brazil, who are equal on points, drew with each other. This Ecuador team that I think is this young, dynamic team that everyone's like, oh, are they going to get to a quarter-final, maybe? Paraguay beat Uruguay. Argentina won against Chile, who are having the worst time. Their golden generation has just gone. They are bottom of the table. Colombia drew with Peru, another draw for them, and Venezuela beat Bolivia because Bolivia are playing away from home. And that is CONMEBOL. So let's look at Africa before we finish. Oh, and CONCACAF. Oh, sorry, that's not Africa. It's the AFC. Where are we? CONMEBOL, AFC, CAF. Egypt are top, and I think they're through now, aren't they? Let me just hang on a second. I see, not mathematically. Everyone plays 10 games, so 6 played, 5 wins, 1 draw. So they are well on their way. Burkina Faso into the best of the rest. I think there's like a table, basically. Let me just have a check. Second best place teams, and they would qualify for the next stage at this point. I think there's some in continental playoff, quite frankly I can't remember. So, Group A, we said Egypt at top, Burkina Faso doing well in second, DR Congo in first, Senegal in second, but only a point between them. Then we have South Africa top of Group C. Now, Rwanda are second, because Nigeria, who've only got 1 win and 4 draws, are down in 4th, but there is time to catch up. Cape Verde is first, Cameroon is second, so some of these qualifiers are a little bit unusual, but there's still plenty of time to go. Morocco top, Niger second, Ivory Coast top, Gabon second, Algeria top, Mozambique second, Guinea are down in 5th. Then Group H, Tunisia top, and Namibia second. Equatorial Guinea in 4th, Ghana top, Comoros Islands, tiny islands, 2nd place, Mali in 4th. And there we have it, Gabon, Cameroon, Senegal and Namibia, the best of the 2nd place teams. And these matches have not, because they're qualifying for the African Cup of Nations, I think, at the moment, so round 7's not until September anyway. And let's finish off with CONCACAF, where obviously Canada, Mexico, USA have already qualified. So they're qualifying at the second for the next and last stage. And they played all of their matches now, have they? Round 5. Oops. So they are, so there's 5 teams, times 2 is 10, take away 2 is 8. So they seem to have quite a few games left. I don't know why the fixtures don't show that. Unless they play everyone just once. In which case Honduras are through and Bermuda are through ahead of Cuba. Let's see, matches. It's quite possible that that's the case. CONCACAF Nations League World Cup Qualifiers. Is that how it works? Oh. Does that mean that Costa Rica and Trinidad and Tobago are through? Curacao and Haiti are through? Panama and Nicaragua are through? Jamaica and Guatemala are through? And then Suriname and El Salvador are through? None of those would surprise me. Only Cuba missing out, I think, would be Bermuda being a tiny, tiny island. So yeah, I think that's the only shock thus far before we get to the next and final stage of qualifying for CONCACAF. Well done to Bermuda. That's a fantastic result. Okay. And of course the news in CONCACAF is that they've just said no to Greenland joining them. Faroe Islands play in Europe as a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Greenland are also part of the Kingdom of Denmark, but not close enough to play in Europe, so they asked if they could qualify for the CONCACAF, and due to the travel distances, CONCACAF have unanimously said no thank you. So poor Greenland are still by themselves, I'm afraid. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, click a like. Let me know a comment. Let me know about what you think about the Wales-Belgium match, the England matches and results. Let me know if you have seen the recording of the decision for Palestine. What do you think about it? Has your nation or favourite nation, if you don't live there, qualified? Who do you think is going to qualify, particularly out of Europe? Do you think Venezuela are going to qualify? Do you think Nigeria are going to pick up? What do you think about the Asian teams that have got through so far, Jordan, Uzbekistan? Let me know. And then join me on Patreon if you love what I do and you want to support it a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching. We love international football on this channel, so I can't wait for the next matches in September. And hopefully I'll do a little video for the Gold Cup soon as well. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. Take care and